everyone, and welcome back to another storytime video. Today I am going to be talking about why I retell some of the stories that I've already told. Now, I was going to talk about an unofficial book club that I had back in elementary school, but I realized as I was looking to see which date I uploaded my first storytime video on, I know that it's 5 years ago this month. I couldn't remember what day. But regardless, I noticed that I had actually told the story about debating against my teacher way back in 2017. Yes, I totally forgot that 4 years ago I talked about that. Now, that was the storytime video for 2 weeks ago. Now, it goes a little bit deeper in the fact that when I made the last day at my first job storytime video back in late November, I think that was Black Friday. Yeah, I think it was. But when I made that video, I had forgotten that I think a year before that, yeah, I think it was in 19, I made that same kind of video. And so I have retitled those accordingly to fit what they actually are, because they're two different stories with definitely, well, more than likely two different games in the background of said stories. Now, including those two storytime videos, I have retold 9 stories. I counted it up right before I pulled up the screen recorder and started to narrate over this gameplay that you're watching right now. And I think part of the reason why I have forgotten that I have made a couple of those stories before, or talked about those stories before, is because I have such a backlog of storytime videos. Like I said, I have been making storytime videos for 5 years now. And if you include this storytime video, I am now up to 116 videos. Just in storytime alone. That's I'd have to look at it right now, but I think that that's the second most videos that I have in a single playlist. Now, my playlists on my channel are basically one playlist per series. So, like, Borderlands 2 is a playlist. And I think only Team Fortress 2 has more videos in that one playlist than storytime videos. So, but that's not an excuse, it's an explanation. Now, I need to be more careful about what I've talked about before, so that either I don't talk about it again, or I actually retell the story on purpose. instead of by accident. Which also, last year, I think that I was going to tell the origin story of, of me getting glasses back when I was a kid. I think I was going to tell that story again. I made it back in 2017 and 2018. So that would have been the third time I told that story. Thank God I looked at it and I didn't tell that story for a third time. They have different titles. I think one's called Getting Glasses and the other's called When and Why I Got Glasses. So there's that. But out of the retellings that I've told of previous storytime videos, I would say the ones that were really validated were the time in which I lost a tooth and I could never find it, because at that time, when I originally told the story, I was battling a sinus infection and I sounded god awful. So I thought that I would retell that story so that, first off, you could understand me a whole heck of a lot better. And not only that, for the reason that I retell most of the stories I tell, it's because there's times in which I can't remember all the details off the top of my head. Now, you might be saying that, how is that possible for you to have other details later? Well, sometimes certain things come to me quicker in memories than others. And so that's a little bit of it. But I will admit that the Fire Hydrant of Doom story is a really fun story for me to tell. I really like telling that story. I have actually told that story like 10 times, 10 to 15 times since it's actually happened. Like, just in the last couple years, I think I've told that story like 5 times. Well, actually, it was more than that because, well, over the course of since it has happened, it's more than 10 because back when it first happened, I had to tell that story. But I do like seeing the look on people's faces. I don't know what it is. I guess I just like to see the concerned look on their faces of like, "Oh my gosh." And you can make the argument that the fact that I told, I think last autumn, the story about what happened before that, the fact that I have told that story is basically like borderline me milking it. And you know, I will actually agree with you. I really thought about not telling that story, but I just told it. But yeah, this is something that I just saw in terms of retelling stories over and over again. In the first 50 storytime videos, I only retold 2 stories. And since then, I've retold 7 others. So, oh well. Yeah, original story, not a retold story, because I keep seeming like I keep retelling stories. And, I don't exactly like that. I think that, in my opinion, well, I'm not worried about running out of stories, in case you're wondering about that. Because I'm going to keep telling stories until I run out of stories for me to tell. And then I'm just not going to tell stories on this channel for a while. I'm not going to say that I want to rule it out in the future, because I live life, and you have the opportunity to create memories, stories like these, by living life. And so I'm not going to rule it out forever, but it would definitely have a hiatus. But eventually, I will run out of stories. I don't know who wouldn't run out of stories to tell, to be honest. But if somebody doesn't run out of stories, then that person is a pretty interesting person. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to talk about that. And I don't want to say get that off my chest a little bit, but I saw that earlier today, and I just wanted to get it out there. And so yeah. And so yes, guys, I do believe that that will do it for this storytime video. I got confused by the gameplay there. I was about to say Borderlands video. And so yes, guys, I do believe that that will do it for this storytime video. And till next storytime video, I will see you all later. Goodbye, guys! Thank you all for watching.